What's good, everybody? Today we're going to be picking out the best all-time UFC fighters from every country. This is a continuation of two videos I made previously where I go over the best current UFC fighters, alright? So if you want to go check those videos out, the links will be in the description. Let me know what you change about those videos, and let me know what you think about the current best UFC fighters, alright? If your country isn't mentioned in this video, please let me know where you're from down below, and let's get right into it with these unks, alright? The best UFC fighters of all time from each country, alright? First country, Big Canada in the building. Of course, I have to include Canada. You know, we got the legends. It's like GSP, Rory McDonald, whatever. But of course, my boy Emmett LePage. Shout out to you in the comments. Shout out to you, my fella. This is for you, all right? We all know GSP. Like, to me, he's the second best UFC fighter of all time, like, period, behind Makhachev. Because I don't count John Jones because of the roids. But that's a video for another day, all right? We're going to make a GOAT video at some point. I'll have that out for you guys. GSP only lost 2 times. He avenged those 2 losses against the 2 guys that he lost to, right? It was crazy. In title fights, I think he lost to Matt Serra and Hughes, and he avenged both of them, like, in timely fashion, too. That shit was quick turnaround. He has a record of 9 title defenses for the welterweight division, 26 wins, double champ after beating Michael Bisping at middleweight. Not the best middleweight champion, but still is a double champ. And yeah, man, he has great wins over Matt Hughes, BJ Penn, Carlos Condit, Nate Diaz. Just genuinely a GOAT of the sport. No debate. Like, what's a debate here, right? Shout out as well to Rory McDonald here on the right. He was always really good when he was up and coming. He felt like he was like inevitably going to be a champion. But the UFC, I think, pushed him a little bit too hard, and it's just what happens. You know, he had a good fight with Robbie Lawler, one of the best fights of all time. They call him the Red King, and yeah, man, what pisses me off is for most of these fucking all-timers, I can't find good pictures of them. Like, look, I got GSP here, black and white. I got Rory McDonald, who has no elbows from the PFL. I don't know what's going on with UFC. The pictures are all pixeled of these old guys, right? Next, Ireland, Conor McGregor, man. What do I even need to say? Like, what is there that I could bring to this conversation that hasn't been said already? That prime Conor run was fucking unreal, bro. You had to be there, which I was not there, but you had to be there, all right? He comes into the UFC. He's a huge star already, has a huge Irish following. Everywhere he goes, it just feels like we're in Little Ireland. Like, he goes to fucking... Bro, if he went to Moscow to fight Khabib, I guarantee you that arena would have been full of Irish people, and it would have been insane. He comes into the UFC, goes on a 5-fight win streak. He beats Young Holloway, beats Young Dustin. Great wins. These wins age amazingly well. As we know, Holloway goes on to become a featherweight champion, future BMF lightweight champion. Dustin Poirier is an interim champion at lightweight, has great fights against Khabib, has great fights against Islam, Oliveira. Like, these fights, they age super well. These, like, wins, they age super well for McGregor. He beat Chad Mendes for the interim, and then he slept Aldo in 13 seconds. The whole MMA community was against Conor McGregor at this point. They were saying, yeah, you know, Conor's just a big mouth, whatever. Like, no one was expecting him to win. You see those videos, those compilations of fighters picking Conor versus Aldo. Everyone picked Aldo, bruh. And I understandably so, but he slept him. 13 seconds. Crazy mind tricks, whatever. It was insane. He was waiting for a fight after sleeping Aldo for a title fight at lightweight. And then just for the love of the game, he takes on Nate Diaz at welterweight. 2 divisions up, just for the fun of it. He loses and he wins. He slams out Eddie Alvarez in his best ever performance at lightweight to become the first simultaneous double champion in the UFC. That's crazy, bro, that Conor McGregor has such an accolade to his name. First simultaneous? Like, that's insane. As we know, like, after that, it would be like Cormier and shit would become like simultaneous champs. But yeah, man, he then has the biggest fight of all time with Khabib, and he just genuinely like cemented himself as the biggest star in the UFC and in UFC history. I don't think we'll ever see someone as big of a star as Conor McGregor. And Ian Gary's here too, all right? We're talking about Ireland. Ian Gary, I guess. Get a belt, buddy. And then we'll talk about you being in this conversation, all right? Next, Finland. Makwan Amirkhani. Jesus Christ. So this might seem like a weird addition to this video because we have a bunch of like big countries, you know, the US, we're going to have Brazil, we're going to have Russia, whatever, Ireland. Marquardt, like, what's this guy doing here? You know, I had to include Finland for my boy Scoby the Alpha. Shout out to you, my boy. On my last video, or one of my last videos, he was commenting. So if you're watching this, shout out to you. This is for you, my man. This is the only Finnish guy I could really find in the UFC that had some kind of record. But watching his history in the UFC, like seeing his fight logs, is actually pretty insane. He hasn't fought since 2023, but before that, he was fighting everybody in the bantamweight division, bro. He fought Brendan Allen, not Brendan Allen. He fought Allen, All-In Allen, you know. He fought Edson Barbosa. He fought Lerone Murphy. His record isn't that good. It's 17-9, but he has some really, really good jiu-jitsu, bro. He's finished 13 of his 17 wins, and 12 of those finishes were by sub. That's crazy, bro. Who else has that kind of record like Oliveira? Even Oliveira that has more knockouts than that. Yeah, man. I mean, shout out to Marquand Amricani, a.k.a. Mr. Finland. Hopefully he fights again in the UFC. I think the UFC cut him. I'm not going to lie. I don't even know if he's alive, deadass. But, you know, I hope he fights again. Shout out Finland. Shout out Scobie the Alpha. Next. Japan. Kyoji Horiguchi. Woohoo! Since we're only including guys in the UFC, this list is not as stacked as it would be, alright? If we included MMA in general, the MMA, like the MMA scene in Japan is huge, it's enormous, and it has so much history, you know. We've been talking about Kazushi Sakuraba, the guy that was putting belt to ass on the Gracie family. We've been talking about Takanori Gomi from Pride. We've been talking about all these guys, all these promotions, but just UFC, this is what it is. If you guys watched my first video talking about the best current fighters, you'll notice that this slide is literally just the swapped version of that slide. Before I had Tatsuro Taira above Kyoji, and here I have Kyoji above Tatsuro Taira. It's just because of the history. Like, if you guys didn't know, Kyoji actually had a stint in the UFC flyweight division back in the day. Like, 2013 to 2016, he went on a 7-1 streak. Like, he won 7 fights, only lost once, and guess who he lost to? Demetrius fucking Johnson, bro, the GOAT of the flyweight division. He left. He had some good fights over back in Japan, over in some other promotions, and then he came back, and now he's on a 2-0 streak in the flyweight division. He's ranked. The flyweight division is now one of the most stacked divisions in the UFC. This shit changed super quick. And yeah, man, like, as it stands right now, if we're being honest, Tatsuro Taira is the best chance that Japan has to get a belt. But these guys are both in the division right now. They're both in the mix. Both of these guys I can see getting a title shot in the future in the next 1 or 2 years. So basically, between these guys, it's a race, all right? They're racing. Whoever gets the flyweight belt first, if anyone gets the flyweight belt first, that's the best Japanese UFC fighter of all time, without debate, all right? Next. Let me talk my shit, bruh. I'm tired of pretending that Alex Pereira is not him. He's him! Just because he's new and he's not been in the UFC for long does not mean shit, bruh. This guy's the fucking GOAT. If this was encompassing all of MMA, like every promotion, all the eras, whatever, then yeah, I mean, Jose Aldo number 1, maybe, you know, Silva number 2, but this is the UFC, bruh. This is the UFC, goddammit. Alex Pereira is my favorite fighter, but even with that in mind, you have to understand where I'm coming from, alright? Hear me out, please. This guy came into the UFC, beat Strickland, who was a future champion, by the way, beat Adesanya, who hadn't been beat in the middleweight division ever, and was regarded as the second greatest middleweight behind only Anderson Silva, alright? That's a huge win for Pereira. Then he lost to Izzy, but then he went up to light heavyweight, beat Blachowicz, former champion, beat fucking Yuri twice, former champion, beat Jamal Hill, former champion again, and got his revenge against Ankalaev, who was the champion. This guy has beat 7 champions, including former, future, and current, and it's just absolute crazy. Like, that's just an insane resume to have. Like, he has to be the best Brazilian guy. Just like on strength of schedule, honestly, the rest of these guys in Brazil, they suffer because they haven't had like the same strength of schedule. That's just what it is. They haven't fought as good of guys. We have to mention them though, alright? Anderson Silva had some PED issues, but that's not the reason I don't have him here, because we're going to have John Jones. We're going to talk about him later on. He's still regarded as a middleweight GOAT. Have to put him here, you know, honorable mention. Jose Aldo, in my opinion, the 3rd best featherweight of all time. He now moved down to bantamweight. He had some good run over there. And yeah, man, he's just behind Volkan Max in the featherweight rankings. And then Amanda Nunes, like, honestly, like, out of the women's fighters, in my opinion, she's the GOAT, bruh. Like, she was a double champ, she held both belts, and she defended both belts, which is something I don't know if anyone's ever done. I had to look that up. But she defended both belts in her both divisions that she had them in. Shout out to, you know, Charles Oliveira and Alexandre Pantoja. I didn't put them on this list, but because it's just facing some really tough competition. We have, like, the Brazil people, like, the Brazilians, honestly, might be, like, the highest quality out of all of the, like, all time. They might have the highest quality fighters, not gonna lie, even above the US, all right? Talk about them now. USA, the big hitters, all right? The USA's produced the most UFC fighters, and you know that might be because of the home advantage. You know, the UFC is, you know, based in the US, but whatever. They've produced the most UFC fighters, and they've just like had the most UFC champions. Low-key by far, I think it's by like 10 or 25 champions that they've had more. But today, you know, the US is a sorry ass division. Like, as it stands today, the USA is not as good as it used to be. All right, Jones dug Tom Aspinall, and he's a bitch that hits his wife. Fuck you, Jones. I fucking hate you. O'Malley can't wrestle. You know, like this guy's in the bantamweight division getting smudged every fight. Justin Gaethje's gonna get executed by Ilya. That's just what it is. And Mario Bautista's chopped, bruh. Wallahi, the Americans are cooked, bruh. This division is fucking ass. Back in the day, we were going on a run for real. Like, these guys in the US, they were going on a real run. Like I said, Jones, a lot of people think he's the GOAT. He's not to me, again, for another video. But, you know, it's undeniable. He's beat the most champions out of everyone in the UFC. He's undefeated if we really think about it. You know, he lost to Matt Hamill by disqualification. He was beating that dude's ass. He's a double champ. You know, he was a light heavyweight champ after beating Cyril Gane. And yeah, man, he just beat the best guys there were to beat, and that's all you can ask of him, really. Like, what more do you want from someone, from a fighter in general, right? In second place, we have DJ and Cormier, two guys that were super, super, super underrated at their time. Bro, if Jones didn't exist, Daniel Cormier would be the GOAT for sure, bruh. He only ever lost to Jones and Stipe, and he beat everyone else in the light heavyweight division. That's crazy, bro. Like, he would be the GOAT for sure. And Mighty Mouse is and will forever be the flyweight GOAT, in my opinion. No one's ever touching those 11 consecutive title defenses. That's fucking crazy. And his only loss is like a weird like split decision to Henry Cejudo that could have gone his way, and the UFC just cut him right away because they were scared of like cutting I don't know. Like, they just set that guy away for no reason, honestly. They could have kept Mighty Mouse. They did that guy real dirty, all right? Next, Russia. Again, the big three. We just went Brazil, US, Russia, bro. This is the real big three countries. The Russians have always been crazy with it. After Islam broke like the title defense record, though, in my book, he passed up Khabib. All right, this might be controversial, but yes, I do believe Islam passed up Khabib, and I do think he's a better fighter, better all-rounded. You know, he's better striking. The wrestling maybe is not as good, maybe not as dominant, but it's way better. Like, his striking is way better than Khabib's wrestling is better than Islam. I don't know if I'm making sense. You know the difference. They line up. Islam, he's beat Volk, the featherweight GOAT, twice. One of them was a knockout, short notice, a very AI fight. He's beat a bunch of guys like Dan Hooker on the come up. He has wins over like Poirier, Oliveira, these guys, and those those wins just age really good. Like Oliveira, as we see, he just beat Max Holloway. That's crazy. And yeah, man, he's the first guy to beat JDM since JDM, like, I think it was his second fight ever in his MMA career. That was the last time he lost before Islam. He was on a crazy like 17 fight win streak or something. Double champ. And yeah, man, he's currently tied with the longest win streak ever with Anderson Silva. Khabib, we all know, super dominant, never bled, almost never lost a round, beat Gaethje, beat Poirier, beat Prime McGregor. And it was kind of easy for him. He beat all these guys in their prime, and it was easy. So we got to put him here as one of the best Russian fighters. And Pyotr Yod, low-key, hear me out. He's kind of going to be the bantamweight GOAT if he wins the trilogy with Merab. He's fought the best at bantamweight, and the only losses he has are very excusable. Like, honestly, they are really excusable. You can't tell me they're not, bruh. Shout out to Hamza and Ankalaev, another two other Russian fighters, but you guys fucking suck right now, alright? If you guys want to sniff this top 3, this top 4 of the best Russian fighters, be more active, alright? Thank you. Next. Oh, man, Israel Adesanya, man. The guy that got me into the sport. Call it luck, call it whatever, but his come up in the UFC was crazy. He was going on a crazy run like 2019 and shit. He is for sure the best fighter that New Zealand has had, alright? Like, I don't care the hate. I also hated on this guy at a certain point, you know, when he was fighting Strickland and shit. But he's for sure the best guy that New Zealand has had, alright? All of the guys on this slide are current fighters, they're still all active. But all time, in my opinion, it's Izzy, Hooker, tied with Oldberg. So it's like Izzy and then Hooker and Oldberg in the same tier. All time, right? If we're talking current, it's for sure Oldberg, Izzy, and then Hooker. But all time, that's what we're talking about. Izzy has great kickboxing. He was lapping the middleweights. He had wins over Whitaker. He beat him twice, and one of them was by knockout. Had a knockout over Costa. Beat Yoel Romero in a really really boring fight, but whatever. And his best fight of all time was a KO over Alex Pereira, bro. Just that win alone gets him top 1, like for real. All time, you know, I pair him up with Olberg. I pair Hooker up with Olberg because he just fought tougher competition. That's all it is. Olberg is obviously on the better streak. He's on a really good quality run, but I have to put him up against I have to match him up with Hooker because bro, he hasn't fought anyone really notable. Now he's gonna fight Yuri. If he beats Yuri, then for sure he's gonna be second best New Zealander of all time. But for now, just take your pick between these two, alright? Next, UK, Michael Bisping, the Count, the GOAT. I love hearing this guy talk. Fight-wise, though, it's kind of weak, bro. This country is kind of weak. I fucking hate Leon Edwards, so I just put Bisping above him. But honestly, these two guys are interchangeable, alright? They both became champs, kind of fluky. You know, Bisping knocked out, what's his name? Bisping knocked out Luke Rockhold, who's very chinny. And then Leon chinned Usman with that fluky ass head kick. All right, they both had underwhelming title reigns, and they just lost right away. You know, Leon lost to to Bilal, not the best loss ever, and Bisping lost to GSP, which is a little bit of a better loss to have on your record. All right, so that's basically what I mean. Yeah, Leon Edwards had one title defense over Colby, kind of fugazi though. You know, Colby did not deserve that shit at all, and Michael Bisping lost to GSP after getting no title defenses. So. Whatever, man. I'm just itching to put Tom Aspinall as the best UK fighter, but he hasn't fought enough, bro. That's just what it is. He has not fought enough. Give this guy 2 more fights and watch him become the British GOAT, alright? Next. In your head, zombie, zombie, zombie. What's in your head, zombie, zombie, zombie. Need I say more, guys? Need I say more, alright? Thank you guys for watching. Let me know who you want to see in part 2. What countries are missing? What fighters you think I should put for those countries? Thank you guys for watching again. I'm gonna go buy an umbrella, alright? Ciao.